Hello, this is Group 11's Showcase of the Trend for Issues in Instructional Technology, MEDT 8463. For our database project, our group chose to research educational games. Our group members are Sabrina Adler, Christopher Kesterson, Crystal Stubbs, and Dina Taylor.
Definition of our trend. Slater's research in 2022 explained that educational gaming, also known as game-based or play-based learning, is the concept that students learn and develop through interactive experiences within a structured gaming format. When looking at the impact of games on human development, Slater also explained that, based on Piaget's 4 stages of development, gameplay is an integral part of human social and emotional developmental processes. Learning can be individual, done in a group, or even a collaborative game amongst other people and peers. Gaming can also help learners explore concepts, review content, and solve problems in engaging and exciting ways.
Educational games support learning through a variety of ways. They support a variety of knowledges, skill sets, and abilities. They support knowledge attainment in your classes, and the kids pick up skills and different curriculum points. And then also socially, educational gaming can help students internalize both moral convictions and logical knowledge capabilities, as cited in Slater. They allow the students to really work together and learn those communication skills and how to interact with each other.
For the setting, our group specifically looked at K through 12 classrooms. We have 3 high school teachers and 1 middle school teacher, so we had some interesting perspectives. Teachers can allow students to develop their own version of games in the classroom. Teachers can offer blank board game templates for children to design and construct their own versions of these games, which they can then share with peers according to Slater 2023. Online platforms and interactive technologies allow teachers to implement whole class competitions. This includes gaming that will support memory and retrieval practices, where online platforms such as Kahoot and Gimkit, Quizzy, or even just a paper and pen quiz games can be conducted at various points during a lesson or a unit will help in the retrieval and remembering previous information according to Slater 2023. Additionally, educational gaming can enhance the social environment in the classroom, promoting better social skills and interactions with students, also according to Slater in 2023. Dervin Kemar research explained that it also supported development of critical thinking, critical reading, and comprehension skills, making educational games a comprehensive tool for the educational enhancement of all students. Educational games can be used in a variety of ways to enhance learning, but the teacher needs to determine the best way to implement these educational games during the design of the actual instructional lessons. Slater in 2022 discussed the flipped classroom model as a possible way of doing it, with board games being used to enhance the learning process and also to engage the students. It is essential to implement educational games into instructional planning appropriately. Part of the implementation must include teachers adopting innovative teaching practices to ensure a successful integration according to Gatos 2021. Educational games can help create a positive learning environment to foster social and academic learning for all students, according to Palat et al. 2024. When students participate in educational games in the classroom, they become more socially active and engaged in the learning process. Another way that games can be used in the classroom is that when needed during the instructional design process, teachers can implement games that allow students to play those games at their own pace. It also allows for teachers to develop more individualized instructions to help students be more successful.
Educational games are broadly used in the K-12 classrooms and used in a variety of ways to improve learning and engagement. Traditional board games and card games are often modified to align with educational standards and learning outcomes. For example, Bingo can be adapted to teach specific content or used in its original form with younger students to learn the concepts of rules and fair play. Traditional low-tech games and newer technologies play a role in educational gaming. Platforms such as Kahoot, Gimkit, Blookit, and Quizzes are widely utilized to review content, engage students, collect data, and enable a competitive yet collaborative classroom environment. These digital games offer interactive ways for students to interact with the material, making learning more enjoyable and effective. In the elementary setting, K through 5, educational games help students learn social constructs and behaviors such as following rules and working together, according to CAP 2012 as cited in Slater 2022. For middle and high school students, games are primarily used for content review, improving student engagement with the material and encouraging collaboration. Additionally, educational games can encourage creativity with students involved in creating their own games as part of the learning process. Overall, the use of educational games in the K through 12 setting is diverse and adaptable, providing significant benefits in terms of engagement, learning outcomes, and social skills development.
Educational games can impact the learning of the different groups of students in your classroom as well. Palat et al. Explained that educational games can positively impact all students, including special groups, and encourage social interaction. Educational games that are based in technology have started offering inclusive features. You can customize games. iCivic specifically allows you to customize some of the settings. Quizzes has features that are geared towards specific learner groups, specific groups like for covering things for dyslexia and things like that, which is really helpful for those who are trying to implement games in their classroom. The features allow the teachers to meet the needs of those students as well as the legal obligations of covering IEP accommodations and 504 accommodations.
Concerns for implementing educational games in the classroom. Implementing educational games is not all fun and games. This is why, as an educator, it is important to ensure that the educational games that are being implemented are appropriate for the instructional content and the students. Gatos in 2021 also brings up the key point of ensuring that teachers have the needed technology and financial support to employ educational games in the classroom successfully. Teachers need to plan appropriately when implementing educational games in the instructional plan. Devoting already limited instructional time to implementing educational games in the classroom can be quite challenging. Things that the teacher must do to ensure that they're doing it correctly take time, including making sure the teacher understands how the game is played so that they are able to explain it to the student. Teachers must also ensure that learning is actually taking place while the students are playing the game, not just a clicking of buttons. By also incorporating the games and improving these central skills, teachers can leverage these skills to improve students' overall learning experience. Issues to consider when implementing educational games. There are several factors that must be considered when implementing educational games in the classroom. Gatos in 2021 during research to mention several of these, including instructional time to implement the game, making sure the game in and of itself has appropriate content for all students, making sure that the student has access to the technology to play the educational game. Schwartz also brought up another point in 2022 when they discussed the point that teachers must be mindful of messages in the game to ensure that educational games do not convey a social agenda. They also need to be able to ensure safe access to the game, which means allowing students to log in through their student accounts without having to give out personal information. Some final thoughts. Appropriate implementation of games is key to improving student learning and engagement. Gatos in 2021 pointed out that educational games cannot be implemented by themselves. They need to be paired with innovative teaching practices for learning to take place. Research study by Schwartz explained that students need content knowledge to understand the concepts in the educational games themselves for it to be appropriate. In the end, it is on the teacher to implement the educational games appropriately for their students, which is why it is critical that educators ensure that we understand how to research, analyze that research, and implement best practices on those findings.
Now, let's get started playing some games. You don't have to create on your own. You can use quizzes, Kahoot, Pinterest, Facebook, or social media to help you.